I would like to talk about Jiddu Krishnamurti's concept of the truth, the dedication to pursue truth in life, according to him, is the highest goal. Truth that is not just an intellectual understanding, but truth that is lived in the heart. And for that, he says, one has to truly understand every emotion that one feels. In fact, he would say, the first step in true spirituality is to learn to experience emotions totally. When you see what is at the depth of emotions, at the depth of feelings, sensations, when you have the courage to see them with total vision, something extraordinary arises out of it, which is not the mere intellectual knowing of the truth, but being the truth. Problem is that most of us have found our diversions. Sometimes it is phones, sometimes it is the internet, social media, substances, sometimes even books or any other activity. All these activities that avoid what is arising are narrowing the vision. So when the vision is bounded, that means when it is filtered, distorted, then what you're seeing is not the truth but the image. An image is never the truth. So for those who are on this path, their commitment to truth has to be strong. It has to be earnest, which means to go beyond the image and look at that which is beyond. When the communication happens between images, that means between the conditioned entities, me being one conditioned entity and you being another conditioned entity, what happens is chaos, conflict. Such a communication is not a wholesome communication. It's not a compassionate communication, but it's a struggle, it's a fight, because I'm totally conditioned. My image is totally conditioned entity that is interacting with another entity that is conditioned, and there is a clash between these two conditioning. But if even one drops the image, which means the communication happens through pure presence and not through conditioning, it is then that the sanity is restored. It is then that the true peace is restored. And if we learn to be in that element where our vision is vast, where our vision does not include peripheral boundaries, that is complete freedom. That is freedom from the known, because image is formed of the known. The conditioned entity or the image is formed from the past which moves in time and modifies into future. And throughout this movement is extraordinary struggle, anxiety, because past keeps creating sorrow. My life, what I did not achieve, my parents were not loving, I did not get good education, I got left out in society, I did not get good job, and the content goes on and on and on. It's all I, totally me based. self-centric, totally self-centric dialogue. But when we go past that, let's take another case of the future. Now the future entity is again flowing in time, in psychological time, which Jiddu Krishnamurti says that one does not require psychological time to bring about the revolution in the psyche. He says that the revolution in the psyche can happen in this very instant by recognizing and seeing this whole movement through total vision. Let me explain what he means by that. Well, he says that as I interact in this world through the content of my past, I find that I'm inadequate. I find that I'm not whole. And then I long to become whole. And that is where my seeking for truth begins. So in this, what I try to do is, I try to modify the image. I try to make it better. And that is what he calls a measure. I am this and I want to become that. And he says that is just the separate self or the image's modification. No matter how much it modifies itself, in the end it remains the same. The only thing is that it has to be seen what this image is, and it begins to drop, it begins to dissolve. And then what comes about is peace, bliss, harmony, and union. So my whole quest that I am not enough right now in this moment as I am, and I must improve, become better through self-improvement, through enlightenment, through spiritual teachings, and all of that, he says, is completely useless. It's a measure which I translate as separation. And separation by itself is suffering. This measure never closes as long as the images are there. But when the images drop, there is no measure. One is perfectly whole. One understands that I am the rest of humanity. So the dysfunction that arises within me when I'm identified with my self-image, that is the dysfunction that one sees in the external world as wars, conflict, discrimination, injustice, inequality, and the rest of it. So these are some brilliant pointers by Jiddu Krishnamurti. But at the end of it, what I see him stressing is that your commitment to truth has to be strong. That means you have to constantly investigate. Every time you come to abrupt conclusions about certain things and it brings you out of your element of peace and harmony, know that you have not arrived at the truth. So when the truth is quote unquote arrived, these convictions about wanting to become this or that, modification of the vision to suit oneself, all of this begins to dissolve. What remains is pure harmony, pure bliss, things as they are. So I accept myself the way I am, which brings about an acceptance of the other as well, the way they are. And that is harmony. So I thought I will share this short message with you all. I'm in a beautiful hill station, Jabli, just taking a walk here. And now I will be going back to Mohali. Take care.